Hey lovelies, welcome back to my channel. My name is Jessica Maria and I am here to talk about makeup today. If you are new to my channel, welcome. Glad to have you here. If you enjoy my content, please don't forget to subscribe before you go. I am going to be talking about Anastasia Beverly Hills today. We're going to be talking about the palettes that I own and why I enjoy them. There are things that I don't like about them. There are things that I love about them. And I wanted to have a conversation about it today. So if you want to be a part of that, let's jump right in. The first palette I'm going to talk about today is one that you've probably heard about in quite a few of my videos. My last video, my top 3 favorite palettes on earth, it is one of them, and that is the Modern Renaissance palette. This palette is actually a newer palette. I repurchased it recently because my other one was way too old and I needed to either get rid of it or replace it because it was gross. Gross and expired. This palette is extremely versatile. I love it. It is great with warm tones. You can also do nice neutral colors and simple looks with it as well. Today I am actually wearing a combination of, I've got Tempera, Raw Sienna, Burnt Orange, and no, I didn't use that shade. It's just these 3. Yeah, it's just these 3. So what I did is I kind of built it up to make it look a little bit darker, but it's mainly, that's my dryer, not bad. But I just wanted a really simple look today and it came through. So something that I don't enjoy about this palette though is that it seems like Tempera is much more powdery. Is that a word? I don't know, but I'm gonna use it. Okay, moving on. It's much more powdery than the rest of the eyeshadows, and I find that I go through this so quickly because of that. And although I love it, I always use this for my base. I do love this eyeshadow, but I do find that it's extremely powdery. That's pretty much how all of Anastasia Beverly Hills eyeshadows are. They're all powdery, but that one is just like over the top powdery. I still love it, but I would like it to be pressed a little bit harder. The next one is a controversial one, but I still enjoy it. So I'm gonna tell you guys the truth and I'm gonna be honest about what my opinion is, and it may not be the same as everybody else's, but it is what it is. So the next one is the Subculture palette that I have, and I love this palette. Not only are these shades different from any other shades that I have in my collection, and you can see I've used it a lot. This palette is extremely powdery, so it's very easy to hit pan on, but I have used this a lot. I go in with a very light hand. Often I am a heavy-handed makeup user, but with this one I always remind myself to go in very softly. I hate this shade, Cube and Electric. They both get hard pan and it's very frustrating. I do still find ways to use them. Often how I use them is actually with a Q-tip. I will take a Q-tip and I will kind of rub off like the top of it and place it near where I want to use it. So like if I want to use it on my inner corner, I'll kind of place it near the area that I want to put it on my inner corner, and then I use a brush to blend it out to how I want it to look. And I personally find that's how it works, but I do get very frustrated with these 2 shades. They get hard pan. They have a real issue with any of the other eyeshadows sticking inside of them. I mean, you can see like Cube is supposed to, can you see? Let me see if I can get that. Okay, you can't see. This pinky corally shade is constantly going in here and sticking to it. So that's a very frustrating thing as well. But other than that, I really love this palette. I've gotten a lot of great use out of it. I really love how it challenges me to do different looks than I would usually do. And yes, I love it. And seriously though, New Wave, like I have never seen an eyeshadow that is this perfect of a yellow mustard that excites me so much. And I love how this looks on my eyes. The next one I have here is the Noir Mina palette. This one is probably my second to least favorite that I've gotten. And this one, it's a great palette and everything, but I do find that I reach for this one less, and I think it's just because it's purples. I don't reach for purples very often, and when I do reach for it, I find that I actually am reaching for eccentric and passion when I open it. That is what I'm like kind of thinking I want to use. So I do push myself to use the other shades. I love these shimmer shades. These shimmer shades are awesome. I've used them with multiple other palettes and other looks and things like that. I do love something that Anastasia Beverly Hills always does, and I think it is so important in a palette, especially for someone who has a tone to their skin, is to have a nice base shade. I love to put down a base shade and then start putting down my eyeshadows, and I think it is so important to have a nice base shade in every single palette, and I enjoy how Anastasia Beverly Hills makes sure that there's a good base shade in every palette. So that is the Noir Mina palette. The next palette is the Soft Glam palette, and I know a lot of people were upset that there was some repeats in this palette, but I'm okay with it. I understand why they did it. They wanted this to be like the perfect soft glam palette, the perfect wedding palette, and the perfect neutral palette, and I think they did a great job of that. I think this can be a very soft glammy look, but you can also really charge it up. You can use this black and make it much more dramatic, and there are these darker colors and then these nice shimmers, and you can make it nice and dramatic. Again, they have a great base shade. This is Tempera, the same as the Modern Renaissance eyeshadow. It's a great palette. I love it. And this one, the only thing I do have a complaint about is this Noir. I don't think it's the greatest black. It's kind of like patchy. I don't know. It's not the best black. And I think blacks are really hard to do because, at least in my opinion, because I don't like very many blacks. I rarely use black because I feel like they're just not done well most of the time. Or at least I don't know how to use them very well because I'm not a professional booty giver here, okay? So that would probably be my only gripe with this palette, is that black shade is not to my liking. And then last but not least, I have the Prism palette. The Prism palette, I feel like it's much like the Subculture palette. It is a palette like no other in my collection, and I enjoy it very much. And this palette also helped me to understand that I really love coral shades. I started to understand that when I first got the Sweet Peach palette, and then with the Subculture palette and the Prism palette, I realized that I really love coral shades. So Saturn and Eden are probably my favorite shades in this palette. I was very disappointed with Sphere, which is like this neon color here. It is not pigmented at all, and Anastasia Beverly Hills is well known for their pigmentation, and like a lot of people will write off the powderiness of the eyeshadow, myself included, because of the pigmentation. And this, I can't even work with it. Like, I've tried using it in so many different ways, and I do not like this at all. Same thing with Obsidian. Again, it's just not a great black. I don't really enjoy it. It's not the kind of black that I enjoy. Probably my biggest gripe with Anastasia Beverly Hills is those shimmer shades that get hard pan. They're very frustrating. But other than that, I like their matte shades are probably some of my favorite. Theirs and Jeffree Star's are my absolute favorites. So that is it for my Anastasia Beverly Hills palettes. A quick rundown of what we went through. Basically, I love their formula for their mattes for the most part. Most of their shimmers I enjoy, but there are those specific shimmers that get hard pan, and I don't enjoy those, and I get frustrated with those. But for the most part, I love Anastasia Beverly Hills eyeshadows, and this is the only palette that I have ever repurchased, so I think that says a lot as well. And I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope it was informational for you, and I will see you guys next time. Let me know if I forgot anything down below. Let me know if you have any questions. Let's get a conversation started down in the comments. And if you liked my content, please don't forget to subscribe before you go and give it a thumbs up. I'll see you guys next time. Bye!